Hello and welcome to the latest Society for the Environment webinar. Today we are focusing on the process of applying for Registered Environmental Practitioner registration, also referred to as REnvP. This is very much an overview and we will let you know how to find more details and point you in the right direction to more of the specifics of what you need to do for your application, depending on your chosen pathway. And we'll talk about those pathways in a few moments' time. To start with, who are we? Well, I am Phil Underwood, officially the Society's Engagement Manager. I am joined by Jeff Atkins, who is our Head of License Delivery and Quality. Our aim today is to shine a spotlight on the key standard procedures involved in reaching your RFP goal, then answer as many questions as we can towards the end. For those watching the webinar as a recording, or if you need to leave before the Q&A section, please feel free to contact myself or Jeff with any questions that you have using the email addresses on your screen. We are now going to turn our cameras off. That's to avoid our oversized heads getting in the way of our beautiful slides. But we will be back later on for the Q&A. These email addresses are also going to appear on the slides later on as well, so you can have a little bit of a reminder at that stage. So if you're frantically scribbling, don't worry. Before we delve into the world of RFP registration, I'll start off with a bit of background to the Society for the Environment, just to help with understanding and to give an idea of why we exist. So our core role is to hold the register for competent environmental professionals who have met and continue to meet a level of competence in their environmental work and their overall professionalism. There are currently just over 8,000 registered environmental professionals who are known as our registrants, and I hope that many of you watching today will join those 8,000 in the coming weeks or months. And we do all of this in partnership with 26 professional bodies. This is our vision and why we do it. The sentence on your screen is a touch long-winded, but essentially through Royal Charter, we exist to champion sustainability through environmental professionalism. We believe that proven, competent environmental professionals across all sectors are key to a sustainable future. So put simply, we want the decisions that impact the environment to be made by those with externally verified, peer-reviewed competence. These are the three different professional registrations that we regulate. We've got the Registered Environmental Technician, or RFTech, the Registered Environmental Practitioner, or RFP, and the Chartered Environmentalist, or CEnV. And these registrations are positioned in a kind of progressional way. Some will use RFP as a demonstration of a solid commitment to being on that progressional ladder towards chartership, for example. But having said that, RFTech or RFP might be the competence level for you, with CEnV being unrealistic. And that is, well, at least for now, and that is perfectly fine. Essentially, these are the global benchmarks for excellence in environmental practice, ensuring our workforce and businesses are equipped to tackle the environmental crises we are facing currently and in the future. So together, the plan is that we can build a more sustainable future. Hence our vision on the last slide. Before we go into the how to apply, I'd like to give a taster to the why you might want to apply. The key benefits that registrants stated in our 2021 survey, which was our latest one, were increased credibility with clients and stakeholders, increased confidence, as in self-confidence, and increased career opportunity. The credibility theme always comes out on top, and that's a massive benefit. With the RFTech, RFP, or CEnV letters after your name, you are basically telling people that you've gone through that external verification and you have been verified as a knowledgeable, up-to-date professional when it comes to environmental good practice, commitment to said good practice, and your technical ability. Employers see benefits as well through proven staff competence, helping to win work, and improving their brand and demonstrating that their staff working on projects are at the top of their game. So when you go through tenders, that kind of thing, when you put the letters or the full versions of RFTech, RFP, CMV, then that stands out, which we see time and time again. The last word from me for now, achieving REnvP will basically put you on par with 8,000 environmental professionals from a vast range of sectors and roles and across the world. And they're all making evidence-based decisions with proven competence and professionalism. You will be part of that global community of professionals who have committed to use their expertise to address environmental challenges and progress any opportunities available. So the CMV, REnvP and RFTech registrations bring you all together. And we think that is hugely important to creating a more sustainable world. And on that note, I'd like to hand over to Jeff to run through the core of today's webinar. So thank you very much for joining us, Jeff. I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you. Today we are focusing on REnvP and how to become a registered environmental practitioner. Now, these are the 4 or 5 steps you need to take to become REnvP. Firstly, join one of our licensed professional bodies. We call these the routes to REnvP. These are the names, logos of the 10 professional bodies we currently license to assess and register appropriately qualified and experienced individuals for REnvP. You need to join the one most appropriate to your sector and speak to them about your plans to apply. Now, these are the 10 out of the total of 26 professional bodies which we license, and we will soon be announcing the 27th. Anyway, your professional body will provide you with an application pack to complete and submit for assessment. Apart from completing an application form, they may ask you to include your CV and CPD record in your submission. If they are satisfied with your application, you may be invited to attend an interview. Now, this could be if your professional body believes it is a reasonable adjustment, or it's an inseparable membership requirement, or that you will benefit from that interview, or it believes it will be appropriate, but it's not mandatory. So that's why it could be that you'll have an interview. Now, the final step before registration is to sign our Code of Professional Conduct. All the way through your application, your professional body will tell you how they run their REnvP assessment process and of any associated fees. When you apply for REnvP registration, you are providing evidence that you meet all 11 REnvP competencies. Now, these are in 4 groups. On the screen, you can see A and B, and these will focus on your sector, and as such may be contextualized by your professional body. And these are the C and D competencies, which are sometimes known as soft skills, but they are just as important as A and B. Please note competence D1, which is about doing CPD to maintain and enhance competence in area of practice. This is important in not just gaining, but retaining your REnvP registration. Now, we've gone through that quite quickly, so here's a quick reminder of the 4 or 5 steps you need to take in your journey to Registered Environmental Practitioner registration. Join one of the currently 10 licensed professional bodies. Speak to them about your plans to apply. Complete and submit your application. If invited to, attend your interview. And finally, sign the Code of Professional Conduct. And I'll stress again, your key contact throughout the application assessment process is your professional body.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Back over to me. So what we're going to do now is picture the scenario. You have been successful in achieving your RFP goal. Congratulations. What happens next? Well, firstly, your professional body will inform us of your successful application, which will trigger us to add you to our official register here at SOCM. We will send you your official RFP certificate, and we'll send that in the post with an RFP badge, which you can wear with pride. You will be added to the online directory of registrants on our website, which you can use to prove your RFP status to clients and stakeholders and future employers and so on. That's more of a registrant checker. And you can start to use the CM logo on your email signatures and the RFP letters after your name, maybe on LinkedIn, on your CV, and anywhere and everywhere that you can possibly think of, really. We do see a lot of new RFPs and CMs and more showcase their new registration on places like LinkedIn. So feel free to join them. Okay, so you've gone through the effort of gaining RFP registration. You probably want to keep hold of it. 3 key steps to do this include remain a member of one of our licensed professional bodies. Now, this could be the professional body you achieved your RFP with initially. So say you applied through StarUM, you could stay with them as a member, and therefore that's the first step to continue as a RFP. Now, you can also transfer to one of the other 9 professional bodies that are currently licensed to award RFP for whatever reason that might be. So as long as you meet their membership requirements and so on, you could do that if you wanted to. As Jeff said a few moments ago, the second point on this slide is quite important, not just in gaining, but retaining your RFP registration. You will need to continue to complete and record appropriate CPD activities each year with your chosen professional body. And that CPD might vary depending on the professional body you choose. For example, if you're going through one of the more environmentally core focused professional bodies, you're probably doing environmentally focused CPD anyway. If you're doing it through one of the professional bodies that aren't directly linked, then you might have to do a little bit more in terms of the environmental CPD to continue as a RFP, but have a word with them. And finally, you should continue to pay the annual fee to your professional body to cover any costs involved. Beyond those steps, you might want to consider chartered environmentalist registration, but that's not something you need to think about straight away. And it's just an opportunity that's out there if you wanted to go down that route. We're going to finish off our presentation with some quickfire Q&As, although they might not be that quick. The questions are quick, the answers might not be. And these are based on things that we quite often come up when we speak to aspiring registrants, and they kind of crop up as barriers that might be there for, well, perceived barriers for applying for registration. And we're going to take it in turns just for a bit of fun. So I'm going to take the first one. Can I be a chartered engineer, a CEng, and a registered environmental practitioner or an RFP? The very simple answer is yes. Yes, you absolutely can. So you're a highly competent engineer, which is demonstrable through your CEng registration. Absolutely the right thing to do. But beyond your excellent core engineering work, your wider environmental knowledge across areas from air pollution to the low carbon technologies to sustainable urban design to net zero solutions, they can be showcased with an environmental registration such as RFP to go alongside your CEng. And you won't be alone. There are plenty of CEng professionals with RFP as well. And the same goes for your incorporated engineers or IEng. And it's worth noting that if you already have CEng or IEng, you don't need to necessarily rewrite your entire competency application for RFP, because some of the competencies will cross over or are very similar, especially in the C and D competencies, which are more of your soft skills. So don't waste your time. On that note, speak to your professional body to see if there is any, if there are any time-saving options for your RFP application when you have recently achieved an engineering registration. And all of the above applies to those who are maybe chartered scientists or registered scientists as well. It's not just an engineering thing. Over to Jeff for the next one.
Thank you. So how long does the application process take? And that's a very good answer. It depends. Depends on a few things. I guess the main one could be if you need to have, or you're required to have an interview. That would add a bit of time to the process. And it might be that your professional body has application windows, where they give you a date where you've got to submit your application by. If you don't meet that, then you'd have to go to the next application window. That might add a bit more time to the actual process. But when you submit your application pack for it being reviewed and being assessed, and then either an interview, and then your application being approved, and you're recommended to be registered, I would suggest you're looking at 2 to 3 months as a general guideline. But as with all things related to REnvP assessment, you really should talk to your professional body about their processes, and they can give you some sort of guidance on how long they think the process will take.
Okay, next question. Do I need to meet all of the RFP competencies? Again, the short answer is yes. But you don't have to have a different scenario or a different project or a different piece of work for each competence. You can use different areas of those pieces of work to meet different areas of the competencies. So you can hit multiple at a time. So don't make things more complicated for yourself, is what I'm trying to say.
So I don't have a degree. Can I still be at REnvP? Well, as it says there, yes, you certainly still have the opportunity to be at REnvP. We don't actually put any restrictions or limit on what you need to have academically. All we ask for is that you've acquired a level of knowledge equivalent to, and in REnvP, it's level 5. It's a QCF level 5 qualification. I mean, that's England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Scotland have slightly different, but it would be a level 5 qualification. It doesn't need to be a degree. Or if you haven't got a level 5 qualification, you've got the experience, and you can show that you've got that level of knowledge. This is something that the professional body will advise you on, and it's really up to them to decide whether or not what you're presenting satisfies that requirement to have that level of knowledge.
Okay, so that draws our formal presentation to a close. So once again, if you're watching on the recording, if you need to leave early, please feel free to contact us with any questions via the email addresses on your screen. Basically, that's it from us today. So thank you very, very much for listening and taking part, and thank you to Jeff for your insights.
Absolute pleasure.
If you are watching the recording on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel to gain notifications of new videos and webinar recordings, and hit the like button. That's always useful. If you are watching on our website, then please click on the YouTube logo in the bottom right to get to the subscribe and like options. and we will see you in the next webinar. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your RFP applications.
Thank you.